special episode today. We are live in Las Vegas. I'm Arvin Nundloll from FightNews.com, and I have Bryan
from Guardian US.
Yeah. And you've been lucky enough because you've been here all week.
I have been here all week. I'm Vegas out.
He's been here all week. He's got a magnitude of stories, and you are in for a surprise. We have a 20-minute special. How's the atmosphere? Tell us about that.
It is chaos out here, Arvin. It's I would describe it as the Super Bowl times boxing, which basically makes it the Super Bowl for children, in a sense. It's just complete madness. It's been an electric, sort of environment and climate all week.
Yeah, everyone who's anyone is here. I believe we've seen so many of our friends, tons of journalists, tons of people from all over the world. And we've seen some ridiculous swinging on the gambling as well. The bets are evening out now. Yeah, well,
from what I've heard, I spoke with Jay Rude, who's basically the director of the MGM Grand Sportsbook, and as of Thursday, I think the tickets were being written at the MGM at 3.3 to 1 for Pacquiao, and further away from the Strip, it's anywhere from 7 to 1 to 10 to 1 bets in favor of Pacquiao to Mayweather. The biggest bet as of Thursday, I guess, was a $500,000 bet on Pacquiao, which to a degree makes sense because he is the underdog, and he's plus money. But at the same time, it's a good price on Mayweather. I don't think Mayweather's ever had a price this low.
Yeah, it's a fair price, I want to say. Yeah. It's and it signifies how competitive this matchup could be. A lot of writers and members of the public were saying how this should be an easy win for Floyd. Granted, his style makes it difficult, but I feel as though anything is possible now. Pacquiao at the weigh-in looks confident. He gave Floyd a cheeky thank you message in front of his face. Floyd did not return any words.
Yeah,
and it seems as though both fighters are comfortable. I don't see any problems in terms of any weight drain. Pacquiao's comfortable. He's probably going to come in at 150, 152 tonight, I want to say.
Yeah, well, so Pacquiao weighed in at 145, Mayweather at 146, so both came in comfortably under the limit. I will say, at that weigh-in yesterday, first of all, it was an insane scene. I believe the official announced attendance was 11,500.
Yeah, that's correct.
Every time Pacquiao was on the Jumbotron, massive cheers. Every time Floyd was on, the massive boos. Now, I don't think that necessarily affects Floyd. If anybody is is used to that and is capable of blocking that out, it is Floyd. But it does sort of set up an interesting dynamic for tonight's fight.
Do you feel, though, Floyd is somewhat agitated, considering that he feels the MGM or Vegas is his home, and yet here we are where Pacquiao normally fights at home and has the greater support?
It's got to be, I think he can compartmentalize, but at the end of the day, it's got to be a little bit sort of upsetting for him that with everything he's done, this was the cost of it. This sort of being truly beloved the same way Pacquiao is. It's a reckoning, I think, in a sense, and that sort of does lead into why I do think he's going to really put in an exciting performance tonight.
And you had a very good article in The Guardian where you profess that Pacquiao could and can win.
Oh, I do. Oh, I believe that. I believe this is a toss-up, this fight. I believe that when the bell rings, or when the bell is about to ring, these two men are going to be looking across the ring at the best opponent they've ever faced. It makes it an incredibly difficult fight to read, but I don't know. It's who knows? Who knows which way it's going to go? Yeah,
it's interesting. The first bell is in a few hours. It will be 2:45. We have Adrian Granados against Brad Solomon. A couple of entry-level fights, I want to say. One standout, we'll see Jesse Hart taking on Mike Jimenez.
From the fighting city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, he is indeed, yeah.
Son of Eugene Cyclone Hart.
He is indeed. That should be a fairly competitive match. Both are undefeated, and fireworks may be possible. Jesse Hart.
Knockout puncher.
Yeah, 13 KOs now. Mike Jimenez, 11 KOs, both undefeated. So that should provide some fireworks. That'll be for the USBA and NABO super middleweight title.
Oh wow!
Good to see domestic titles still available. In Vegas.
Alphabet soup.
Yeah, can't get enough. Then we have Vasyl Lomachenko. He's taking on Gamaliel Rodriguez. The odds were spectacular on Rodriguez getting anything. I believe they were plus 2,700. So
really,
yeah. If you want to
so you're saying this is a fight sort of designed to make Lomachenko
I
look
believe
good?
expect a round 1 or a round 2 KO. And
that brings up an interesting point, because this pay-per-view starts 6 p.m. out here, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. It's only 3 fights instead of the normal 4. Lomachenko should finish that first fight early.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of the second of those 3 bouts is Leo Santa Cruz versus Jose Cayetano.
And Leo Santa Cruz took on this fight, I want to say, a while ago, and his opponent took it on last week. So I suppose the fans are getting frustrated at Leo Santa Cruz in terms of not stepping up. We know he's talented. We know he can compete at the world level. Mm-hmm. Why is he not fighting top-tier opponents at this stage?
Excuse me, Arvin. To be honest, I'm not sure. He is obviously one of sort of Al Heyman's charter members, and I'm not sure why he's not being moved along and tested. And it does seem like he is being protected to a degree, and I'm curious why that is. Obviously, this is a huge showcase for him tonight. So the eyes of the world will be watching him.
And he's been on many Mayweather pay-per-views in the past.
Yes, and he also was on CBS on a network fight in the afternoon a few years ago.
Yeah, he was.
So he very much has been a guy that they sort of put out there. And tonight, I would say this will probably be the biggest audience he's ever been in front of, because this is the last fight before the fight everyone's gonna wants to watch and wants to see. So it should be interesting.
Does he take Abdamares after this, or does he realistically try and take Rickon down?
I could see him going in with Abdamares. No question. That's a good fight. And then I don't know.
And to Leo Santa Cruz's credit, he has explicitly said that he will give the fans the fight they want in the future. So just to balance it out, I believe he's aware that it's pretty much now or never for him to step it up.
Now or never.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And then main event, I know you've said Pacquiao. A very good article. If you haven't read it, it's on theguardian.com. And I believe Mayweather is just simply too skillful, too experienced. And I just feel as though it's his house. He knows how to win the judges over. Let's not forget he won a split decision against De La Hoya, against Alvarez somehow, you would have thought. He knows how to impress the judges. He knows how to basically bank the rounds. I don't know if Pacquiao can do that. And we had a very heated discussion at the bar last night with various Pacquiao and Mayweather fans. They feel as though Pacquiao has the ability to score a knockdown, not a knockout, but if he gets a knockdown, they feel that puts him in the running to win on the cards.
I believe that Pacquiao, in the first 4 rounds of this fight, could land a punch that, I believe either fighter, looking at them yesterday, could end this fight. Could land something that either ends the fight or basically changes the dynamic of the fight.
Considering we know Pacquiao has the power.
Yeah.
Mayweather, not so much, I feel.
Yeah, but
although
Floyd at that weigh-in yesterday, my biggest impression was him is he looks like he's loaded for bear. His shoulders look huge, bigger than I've ever seen them. A lot of people think, much has been made of his training as far as the chopping the wood, those huge logs that were actually imported in from Big Bear. And I don't know. It's I think Floyd. There's a lot to me that sort of indicates that Floyd is coming into this fight looking. He wants the option of being the aggressor. That's very interesting to me because I personally think Floyd doesn't have it in him to be the aggressor. That's sort of the fight within the fight. That's something I'm looking at.
We saw it in the first Maidana fight. He wanted to impress. The second Maidana fight, he just schooled him through technical defensive boxing.
Yeah, doing what Floyd does best.
Exactly, and he knows how to win that way. We saw a little bit against Cotto when he came and he was aggressive, and he pressed Cotto. Fair play to Floyd. He made it entertaining. I believe he will try to make it entertaining, but he really needs to bank those early rounds to make sure that he gets a clear points victory.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. I mean, George Foreman thinks that Pacquiao is going to win. I believe George said that he thinks Pacquiao is going to win the first 6 rounds and put Mayweather possible in a position where he needs to come from behind.
We all know that Floyd tends to give up the early rounds and he catches up later on. Manny really needs to keep up his stamina. He needs to have pretty much the way he was against Algeria, but double the output, double the intensity. For 12 rounds, I don't know if he can do that. It's asking a lot for anyone to fight Floyd that way.
Yeah, well, this is the fight of his life. You know, I think one of the biggest things and one of the reasons I did pick Pacquiao is this is a guy. He hasn't been an underdog since Oscar de la Hoya, which is, you know, arguably the most superlative performance of his career. And this is a guy that I've seen firsthand over the past few years. His training camps, you know, have not been good. I think it's a guy that's sort of lost his motivation a little bit. Maybe satisfied isn't the right word, but almost became a little bored and disinterested. And I think what you know, this is an opponent, and this is an event that will bring the best out of him.
It's funny you mentioned about how you're not motivated. So by now, I'd say hopefully everyone's seen the Mike Tyson clip about how Mayweather cannot be considered the greatest. But Mike Tyson's also someone who was a victim of a huge upset against Buster Douglas.
Two huge upsets.
And the same I believe the same mentality applies here. If Mayweather isn't taking it as seriously, or if he feels he's fallen out of love with the game, which he has said publicly.
But that yes, and these statements are alarming. Another alarming statement that he's made is that, you know, his career can't be judged by one fight. To me, that's...
Especially before the main event, where you know you're undefeated.
Yeah.
It's kind of, unless it's a very tactical game, I feel as though he's giving some ground, or conceding, or taking a hit from his confidence.
Yeah, I mean, I hear those things, and you know, if you do take those at face value, those are not very good signs to me. But I will not rule out the possibility of those being psychological forays designed to throw him off, to throw the sort of the general public and the other side off.
Yeah, so, and just for all your viewers, the general consensus is that it's pretty much a 60-40 split between Floyd and Manny here. 60% of journalists here believe Floyd will win, 40% Manny will win. Not sort of clear by any means at all. So it should be a fairly entertaining fight. The downside is that Floyd shuts him out for 12 rounds, which I can see happening. And it may not live up to the hype. But we're only a few hours away. We get to see for ourselves.
Yes, it's truly right around the corner.
Where does either fight go after this? Let's say come Sunday, we've seen one of the biggest fights of all time. What does either fighter do going forward? Because now there's really no way to pretty much say, hey, I'm going to go fight, you know, Jesse Vargas. I'm going to go fight Amir Khan. It's kind of like that. This is it for them.
Well, I mean, I've got to say, you know, if Pacquiao loses, he's probably done as a top pay-per-view attraction. On that top level. Floyd said, you know, he says he wants to fight once more and then retire. I don't know. It's, we'll see. I mean, there's a huge part of me that thinks he'll want to go for that 50th if he does win the 48th and the 49th.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to say.
Now, we know that if Mayweather wins, there's probably no rematch. If Pacquiao wins, do you foresee a rematch? And I understand that it's been very complicated and taken just over 5 years to get to where we are now. Will a rematch be as simple as let's do this again and make all this money again and provide another great fight?
I think it won't. I think it was very difficult to put it together. It almost fell apart last week.
And is that because of the ticket sales that were not available?
Yes. I think basically a rematch only happens if it's absolutely compelling and makes sense in sort of undeniable way. Not just if it's plausible, not just if it's passable or saleable. So, I don't know. It should be interesting.
It should be a fun fight. We cannot wait. I suppose after this, we have Khan Algieri later on. That may provide a future suitor for Floyd, but ultimately it's Floyd's decision, I feel. He'll come 1 or 2 a.m. this morning, we're going to hear some harsh words from one fighter. Because pretty much to your point, someone's career is not going to be top tier anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said, you know, if Floyd, you know, loses that zero, I mean, so much of his sort of marketability and his value as an attraction is derived from that zero. Because, frankly, a lot of people pay to watch him lose.
They do indeed, and a lot of people will be doing that tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this is a guy that basically, Pernell Whitaker was never a huge,
great boxer, but
Yeah.
not a superstar.
not a superstar. Yeah. So it's difficult to say what's next for Floyd. If certainly if he loses, you got to wonder what's next.
Absolutely. In talking of what's next, let's say, when will boxing be able to see another big fight like this? Do you believe it'll happen in the next 5 years?
It's difficult to say. Obviously, a big fight available or on the table is Canelo versus Cotto, but certainly that's not a fight on this level. And yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Obviously, you got to hope the heavyweights come back. There's a chance that we could see Deontay Wilder, who's here this week, fight Vladimir Klitschko to unify the heavyweight titles for the first time since Lennox Lewis.
Or Wilder Jennings. I'm just going to throw it out there.
Wilder Jennings.
I would be more than happy to see that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
it's either way, I feel it's a positive sign for boxing.
Very much so.
It's just going to get better from here, I feel.
Should be Arvin.
So just on record, I've got Floyd winning points, and Bryan, if you've got Pacquiao winning on points, I take it.
I have Pacquiao winning a very close decision, but I do believe this is a complete toss-up, and if anybody tells you they know which way it's going, they're lying.
Or on the take, but we don't know.
Or on the take,
Yeah, well, I believe that wraps up our special Vegas session. Feel free to download it. Play it before the main event. You never know what you're going to expect.
Yes, download it soon, because this is right around the corner.
A couple hours now. So
aging by the minute.
Indeed it is. So just thanks to the MGM. And
thanks to the MGM for accommodating us.
And the free breakfast. Thanks to God. Thanks to Al Heyman for putting on the event.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Al Heyman.
Yeah, thanks to Bob Arum for not.
Thank you, Bob Arum.
Yeah, there we go. Todd the Buff as well.
My promoter, Bob Arum.
Yeah, there we go. And a host of other people, I want to say.
Yeah.
We did see Sam Watson earlier, so shout out to Sam Watson.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for listening.
He will be giving us possibly Danny Garcia in a few weeks, so stay tuned for that.
How wonderful. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah, and that's it from Las Vegas. Make sure you watch the fight and enjoy.
Enjoy.